Okay, thank you. Welcome for our science lesson. I'm Mr. Omar Sifuna. Today we want to cover the topic air pollution, of which is summarizing our topic environment, of which we started covering last week. Now this is the last part of it as we coordinate. Last lesson, you remember we talked about soil conservation, of which we discussed several ways on how we can conserve the soil. Immediately to start with, we have to define what is air pollution. Now this is that type of pollution we want to discuss about, because you remember in your standard 7 you discussed about water pollution. It is coordinated there. Last time we were talking about soil pollution, and lastly we will have to talk about air pollution. Those are the 3 types of pollution we will have discussed about. Now, what is air pollution? We can define air pollution as harmful substances known as pollutants found in air or released in the air. That is air pollution. I write it. Is the presence of harmful substances in air known as pollutants. Presence of harmful substances in the air known as pollutants. That is the meaning of air pollution. Now, what are some examples of air pollution? One, examples of air pollution, the ways in which air can be polluted. One, tobacco smoking. That is one way of how the air can be polluted. Number 2, we have burning of tires and plastics. Burning of tires and plastics. Burning of tires and plastic is another way on which the air can be polluted. And then we have emission of gases from vehicle exhausts. Emission of gases from vehicle exhaust. Emission of gases from vehicle exhaust is another way of polluting the air. And then we have farm chemicals, uncontrolled farm chemicals, uncontrolled farm chemicals. We have aerosol sprays. Aerosol sprays. And finally, we have industrial gases. Industrial. Okay. These are 6 ways on how the air can be polluted. I want to go through them. We discuss and see how can they pollute the air, in which way, all of them. And then we will also discuss about the effects of this air pollution on the living component of the environment. Now, to start with tobacco smoking. Tobacco is one of the drugs that is mostly abused in Kenya and also other countries. You discussed tobacco under drugs in standard 7. It is still the same. The difference is now we only just want to see how it can pollute the air. Now, tobacco smoking. Tobacco smoking. Tobacco smoking is taken in the way of smoking cigarettes. Now, most people smoke cigarette, and this is the most common method of polluting the air. Now, what is tobacco containing? It contains 3 substances. You know them. you discussed under drugs in standard 7. One is nicotine, one element in tobacco. The second is carbon monoxide. Number 3 is tar. These are the elements that are found in tobacco. Now when you talk about nicotine, carbon monoxide and tar, elements found in tobacco, they are very harmful to human health and also animals. When you talk about nicotine, this is an addictive substance found in tobacco. It pollutes the air. Carbon monoxide is a very dangerous gas. You understand, carbon monoxide combines with hemoglobin in red blood cells to form carboxyhemoglobin that hinders transportation of oxygen in the blood. That is, carbon monoxide combines with the hemoglobin in the red blood cells to form carboxyhemoglobin, which is a very dangerous element. It hinders transportation of oxygen in blood. Then lastly we have tar, which is a black residue found on teeth and along the throat of cigarette smokers, and it is also having some element known as carcinogen. This one is a dangerous chemical found in this element known as tar. This one is also poisonous and it can cause cancer. Cancer is also a very dangerous disease. It is caused by tar, this element known as carcinogen found in tar. That is now how tobacco affects the air, that is pollution of air. Now that is the first. We have discussed about tobacco, which was the first way of polluting the air. Number 2, we have burning of tires and plastics. Burning of tires and plastics produces soot. Burning of tires and plastics produces soot and smoke, which is very dangerous and it pollutes the air in one way or the other. Next we have emission of gases from vehicle exhaust. Emission of gases from vehicle exhaust. You have seen mostly in these busy towns like Nairobi, Mombasa, Garissa. These are busy towns where we have so many vehicles. We find a vehicle which is maybe the engine is not functioning well, it is producing a lot of smoke. That one is pollution of air. And in that smoke there is what we call carbon dioxide and also carbon monoxide in this smoke that is produced by vehicle exhaust. They are very dangerous when inhaled. It is also having a metal known as lead. It also produces a metal known as lead, which is very dangerous to human health. More so in children, it can cause mental problems. It can cause mental problems and physical growth. It can cause mental problems and physical growth, mostly in children. That is lead. So emission of gases from vehicle exhaust having soot, smoke and metal known as lead is dangerous to human health. Then next we come to farm chemicals. Farm chemicals. How can farm chemicals pollute the air, and what is it having? Farm chemicals, we categorized farm chemicals as fungicides, pesticides, acaricides, fungicides, pesticides, acaricides, etc. These are some of the farm chemicals that are used by farmers to spray on crops and also their animals to control pesticides, to control weeds. We also have herbicide in that group. Now, you find that when farm chemicals are mixed with water and sprayed by a sprayer, it is blown off by wind and it goes to air and pollutes it. Next we have aerosol sprays. Aerosol sprays. Aerosol sprays. Aerosol sprays. Examples of aerosol sprays: we have perfumes, we have air fresheners, perfumes, we have air fresheners, and also we have insecticides. These are 3 examples of aerosol sprays. They are put in containers and then sprayed in a form of mist. Now, these also pollute the air. In which way? These perfumes have a chemical by the name chlorofluorocarbon. They have a dangerous chemical known as chlorofluorocarbon that destroy the ozone layer. Ozone layer is a layer of gas at the top of this atmosphere, and this layer, known as ozone layer, protects the earth from being struck by dangerous heat of the sun. So you find that the perfumes producing chlorofluorocarbon, which is a dangerous chemical caused to destroy the ozone layer, which is very important. The ozone layer protects the earth from the dangerous rays of the sun. So that is aerosol sprays. Then lastly, let us talk about the industrial gases. Industrial gases. The industrial gases produces smoke, produces carbon dioxide, produces sulfur dioxide. These are examples of the gases produced by industry. You find there are so many industries, and these different industries and factories uses fossil fuel, that is diesel and petrol, which is producing smoke, producing carbon dioxide, producing sulfur dioxide. These are also one of the most dangerous gases that pollute the air, I mean. Okay, now you find that these 2 gases, carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide, combines with the rainwater to form acidic rain. Acidic rain. And this acidic rain pollutes the air. You will discuss when it comes to the effects of acidic rain to the living component of environment, when we will be discussing about that. Now directly, we have discussed about all the 6 ways of polluting the air. I said tobacco smoking, burning of tires and plastics, emission of gases from vehicle exhaust, we have farm chemicals, aerosol sprays, and lastly industrial gases. Now I move to effects of air pollution on animals. Effects of air pollution on animals. How can polluted air affect the animals? We have so many types of animals. How can the polluted air affect the animals? Effects of air pollution on Effects of air pollution on animals. We have causes respiratory diseases. Causes respiratory diseases to animals. Number 2, it causes, carbon monoxide causes death. Carbon monoxide causes death. Number 3, acidic rain kills. Acidic rain also kills. I will have to discuss on how acidic rain will kill animals. We have causes allergies. Allergies causes allergies like coughing and smoking. Coughing and sneezing are some of the allergies that are caused by polluted air. We have something known as smoke. Impairs visibility. Smoke. This is SMOG. That is not the smoke that we have been talking. This is now a different smoke. Impairs visibility. You cannot see when the air is polluted. Now, let's talk about respiratory diseases. We have discussed about so many emissions: smoke, soot, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide. All those cause, we are breathing it. So as you breathe it, and also other animals, you find that the breathing system is affected. So having respiratory diseases, there are so many diseases. Number 2, we have carbon monoxide. We said carbon monoxide is a poisonous gases, and it is produced by burning fuels such as diesel and petrol. It combines with hemoglobin in the red blood cells, which forms carboxyhemoglobin that hinders transportation of oxygen, which is very important in our bodies. So it causes death. When you inhale carbon monoxide, you can die. Now we have also acidic rain. We said sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide combines with rainwater to form acidic rain, and this one kills aquatic animals and also small animals that live in soil. As it goes there, it kills aquatic animals, means those animals that live in water, and also animals that live in soil are also killed by the acidic rain. Second last, we have causes allergies. As you breathe them in, all the elements we have been talking about, they causes allergy. You find that you are sneezing, you are coughing every time because the air you breathe is being polluted. And then lastly, smoke. Smoke impairs. Smoke impairs visibility. Smoke, sometimes you wake up in the morning and find that there is something like mist, something like smoke everywhere. So you cannot see somebody who is 30 meters away from you, and it causes accidents on roads because you cannot see people who are running, or vehicles, motorists can easily collide because they are not seeing well. The air is polluted and forms smoke. Number 2. Now this is how the polluted air can affect the animals. Now let us talk about how the polluted air can affect the plants. Are plants also affected? Yes. In which way? We will have to discuss it here. Effects of air pollution on plants. Yes. In which ways? These are the ways on how the plant is also affected. 1, dust interferes with photosynthesis. Dust interferes with photosynthesis. Dust interferes with photosynthesis. Number 2, soot and smoke block the stomata. Soot and smoke blocks the stomata. Soot and smoke blocks the stomata and also the stigma. Soot and smoke blocks the stomata, the small opening found on leaves, and also can block the stigma. You understand, the stigma is one part of the pistil, the female part of the flower. And then we also have acidic rain scorching the leaves. Acidic rain scorches leaves. Acidic rain scorches leaves. Lastly, heavily polluted air also affects the germination. Heavily polluted air affects germination. These statements are self-explanatory. You understand all these scientific terms. I will just go through them very fast because you have covered almost everything here. It's only to state that air pollution is also supporting the effect that have been narrated here. One, dust interferes with the photosynthesis. You understand the meaning of photosynthesis. This is a process by which green plants make their own food during daytime in leaves. The conditions that must be there for photosynthesis to take place also very important. You remember them. You find that when dust covers on the top of the leaves, it blocks light. Light is one of the conditions that must be there for photosynthesis to take place. So after the leaves have been blocked by the dust, photosynthesis will be interfered. Number two, soot and smoke blocks the stomata and leaves. Stomata are small openings on plants. You understand? This one assists in transpiration. We also have stigma. When the stigma is blocked, fertilization will not take place because you know the pollen grains have to go to the stigma before they germinate in the pistil, in the style I mean. So you find that fertilization is not taking place and now interferes with the reproduction in plants. The flower being the main reproductive part of the flowering plant, stigma is blocked. Now reproduction is affected. Number three, we have acidic rain scorching leaves. I have already talked about that in my previous lesson. Acidic rain, when sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide mixes with rainwater, it forms acidic rain and it burns the leaves. It burns the leaves, now interfering with the plant growth. Lastly, we have heavily polluted air also affect the germination, growth of the seedlings. From seed to seedlings is also affected because air is also part of a condition of germination. Now that is all the effects of plant air pollution to plants. Now lastly, we also have effect of air pollution on non-living beings. Effects of air pollution on non-living beings. Beings that has not lived. Effects of air pollution on non-living beings. So you find that it is affecting plants, it is affecting animals, and it also affects non-living things. One, acidic rain corrodes the corrugated iron sheets. One, acidic rain corrodes the corrugated iron sheets. Iron sheets are non-living. Iron sheets does not live, so you find that is corroded by acidic rain. One way in which the air pollution can affect non-living things. And then it wears marble stones. It also wears stones known as marble type of stones. Acidic rain also wears marble. Wears marble stones. We also have makes metal rust faster, rusting of metals, acid grain metals. Many of materials are made of metals rust faster when it comes in close contact with acid grain. We also have carbon dioxide result to increased heat. Also carbon dioxide, excess carbon dioxide in the air. Excess carbon dioxide increases heat, causing global warming. When there is a lot of carbon dioxide in air, it increases heat, hence causing global warming due to what we call, it is increased excess carbon dioxide result to global warming due to what we call greenhouse effect. Greenhouse effect. Excess carbon dioxide in the atmosphere increases heat and causes global warming due to what we call greenhouse effect. And lastly, smoke clogs air, making it difficult to see. Smoke clogs the air, making it difficult to see. So those are the effects. We have discussed about the effects of air pollution on plants, effects of air pollution on animals, and lastly effects of air pollution on non-living things. And now from there we will come to the method of controlling air pollution. Now you have seen there are so many effects, very dangerous effects of air pollution or polluted air. Now, as human beings, how can we control these effects of air pollution? One, avoid smoking in public areas. Avoid smoking in public areas. Avoid smoking in public areas. Two, recycle plastic and rubber. Recycle plastic and rubber. Instead of burning them, recycle and use them again. We also have controlled use of farm chemicals. Controlled use of farm chemicals. Those acaricides, pesticides, herbicides, you control them. Don't use them in a way that you are polluting the air. Now we have screening and treating gases before releasing them. Screening and treating gases before releasing them. Screening and treating gases. Before releasing a gas, it should be treated in that it is not polluting the air. And then we also have vehicle should be serviced regularly. Vehicle should be serviced regularly to avoid emission of a lot of gases. We encourage people to use modes of transport like bicycles. Advise people to use mode of transport like bicycles. Mode of transportation like bicycles that does not produce gases. Bicycles does not produce gases, so advise people to use such a mode of transportation rather than using a vehicle and other mode of transportation that releases more gases to the environment. Now you also use of mechanical and biological methods of weed control. Mechanical and biological method of weed control. Okay, now how can we now conserve air pollution? How can we control it? I said we can control air pollution by avoiding smoking in public areas. You understand, smoking, the person smoking is not the only person who will be affected. We have two types of smokers. We have the active smokers and passive smokers. If, for example, we say this person is sitting with this one and this one is smoking, yeah, you find that this is unintentionally also having that smoke. It is unintentional. So this we will be calling active. Whoever is smoking is active, and whoever is unintentional also inhaling the gas is known as passive smoker. So this one is also smoking, is affected. So you should not smoke where there is so many people. Number two, recycle plastic and rubber instead of burning them. Recycle and use them. Number three, controlled use of chemicals, farm chemicals. They should be controlled. The person who is spraying the chemicals should wear protective clothing. We have the face mask, the overcoat, we have the gloves to make sure that they are not affecting you. And you should also spray chemicals in the direction of wind to avoid inhaling them. You have to spray in the direction of the wind to avoid inhaling the chemicals. Next we have screening and treating the gases before releasing them. Next we have vehicle should be serviced regularly to make sure that it is not releasing a lot of the smoke, and also dangerous elements such as lead. We also have advised people to use a mode of transport like bicycles that does not emit gases to the environment. Lastly, we also have mechanical and biological ways of controlling weed. You can introduce, advise people to use scarecrow and also uprooting. Instead of applying chemicals, you can dig them out, you can uproot them out, you can use several mechanical methods and biological of controlling weed instead of using chemicals. So thank you very much. That is the end of our lesson, and now we have covered the topic environment. Expect question at the bottom of the video. Try to attempt them. In case of a problem, you can send the questions to my WhatsApp number, of which I will assist you. Now next time we will introduce another new topic. Thank you very much.